Okay, good morning everyone, and welcome to today's Let's Talk Dairy webinar. Today I'm delighted to be able to have a good chat with John Trant, who's the farm manager in Clongowes Wood College at the moment, and was the Young Grassland Farmer of the Year competition winner for 2019. And you will have seen John on our social media campaign there a couple of weeks ago, and instead of the event that we would have hoped to have hosted on the farm with him, having won the category of Young Grassland Farmer of the Year. So as I said, I'm delighted to talk to John. This is John's second time on Let's Talk Dairy. When we were talking to him 4 months ago, he was under a bit of pressure at the time. There was a significant drought impacting in the Clongowes area. So it's good to be able to talk to John in a kind of a more relaxed setting, I suppose. So the reason we're talking to you today is because you've had an interesting career path, I suppose, and we want to, I suppose, tease that out a little bit more with you. So I suppose it'd be wrong of me to talk to you initially without asking you how are things going at the moment on the farm now, given that you're under pressure, as I said, when we were talking to you 4 months ago. I'd imagine it's a different scenario at this stage.
Yeah, no, we're flying at the moment. Cows are milking well, and we've enough grass, and yeah, everything's going well. We scanned the cows there yesterday, and we got 9% empty. So we're happy with that, and there was no shocks or anything in it. So, no, we're very happy with scanning. It seems very compact. So we'll have a busy 3 weeks in February. But.
And what's the grass situation? We'll say farm cover, etc. at the minute.
Farm cover is 900. That's kind of where I want it to be. I don't want to go any higher. Trying to keep pre-grazing yield around 1600, and not have too many heavy covers to go into. So now we're in a really good position with clean outs. Cows are grazing down to 3.5 with ease, and we're flying with milk. Production now is 17.5 litres, 415 protein, and there's 568 fat, which is around 1.75 kgs of milk solids, 1.77 kgs of milk solids. So now we're flying, yeah. No complaints.
Excellent performance for the 24th of September.
Yeah, no, they're on 3 kgs a meal at the moment. With 2.5 kgs a meal at the moment. So they're being fed as well. So no, we're happy with it now. The herd is coming to maturity a lot now, so that's helping big time. There's over 100 cows with 5 lactations plus in the herd, so it's a big plus.
That's in it, just about around a third of the herd, so in that category.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then just I suppose finally we'll finish up on the grass piece. Then when are you going to start closing?
I'll start closing on the 10th, and I'll be fully housed around the 20th of November. So kind of go on a quick round. My objective is to have kind of a flat enough wedge in the spring, and hope to open with a farm cover round anywhere between 900 on the 1st of February.
Okay, very good.
In previous years, I would have had 1100s opening covers and stuff, for 1,000 opening covers, but it seemed just nearly impossible to get through the grass. So I'm just going to close with a lower cover this year and see what happens.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I suppose, as I said, we want to talk to you about your career progression. So I suppose the first question I'll put to you is, was dairy farming always your objective, or was it something that's developed as you've gone along? And I suppose tell us a bit about yourself as well.
Yeah, so I'm from a small farm in Newcastle, County Dublin. It's on the border with Kildare. So it's a small 40-acre farm. Grandad was dairying up until I was like 6 around then, and he retired out of cows. So kind of that always had my interest in it then, and I used to milk for a neighbour and help a neighbour out and stuff as much as I can. So I just always had an interest in farming, and always had an interest in dairy farming. I never really wanted to do anything else. Like, my parents aren't farming. My dad works for a contractor, but he's not farming full time. So the farm at home was only leased out for most of my life anyway.
Okay.
and it's not viable to go home and go milking cows there because it's just landlocked between two dairy farmers. So, kind of farm management was the route I was going to take.
It was really the only option available to you to pursue the career that you kind of had in your mind, like, so
yeah,
very good. So I suppose, like, you went to Ballyhaise first and foremost. So after you leave in search, you went to Ballyhaise, and then you went on to do the professional farmers farm management course in Moore Park. So was it a natural progression for you to do that? Because it probably was, I suppose, given that you kind of had that objective in your mind to become a farm manager, or that the farm management route was the only way you had of getting to go milking cows potentially.
Yeah, no, it was like, it was. I always had intended to go to Ballyhaise and do the Moore Park course. I had always, I think in school, I kind of set out, it wasn't a really list of goals, it was a list of what I was going to do. So that was kind of it, was to go to Ballyhaise, go to Moore Park, and in between go to New Zealand, and then come work here in Clongowes and try to do something with the farm at home. That was my plan since I think about 16 or 17. That was my plan. Yeah.
Was Clongowes in the plan as early as that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was taken over here in 2014. It was leased out to Mile Tree Farms, and kind of when I heard that, and with the herd that was in it and what was happening, and the type of farm it was turning into, that struck me interest in Clongowes, and I said that, I always thought that'd be a nice place to work and to learn, and I could maybe do something with my farm at home, have a few cows back there or something, messing about with it.
Yeah, very good. So I suppose like the courses themselves, will say the time in Ballyhaise, like what did you see as the positive? What did you bring out of them? I suppose were the benefits of doing the Ballyhaise course, and then the benefit of going on to do the professional farm management course in Moore Park. Then,
yeah, Ballyhaise was kind of the basics, and then real benefit of Ballyhaise I found was going around every week and measuring grass with Donald Patton. Was probably the highlight of the course there. Like, that kind of really struck me interest in grass measuring. I'd never even seen grass measuring or heard of grass measuring up until I went to Ballyhaise. It's that kind of, and hearing of Ballyhaise and going to different things and going to different farm walks and talks, you're hearing about the Moore Park course. It was nearly like a given that you had to do it. Like, it was just that step onwards and that step up in the progression to just seem natural enough just to go and do the Moore Park course. Like,
okay. And I suppose you mentioned Donald there. He was obviously influential kind of in your steps along the ladder. So in terms of, you obviously have a good relationship with him, and he kind of would have steered you maybe towards the professional farm management course then as well, and maybe other people then.
Yeah, he did kind of, it was my lectures and stuff, but yeah, it was kind of, he opened everything. You see a lot more the technical side with it, and the technical side of measuring grass and how well it can be done, and then as well as how easy it is to be done as well. Like, it doesn't take a genius to do it. So, yeah, he was a good steerer as well. Like, he was a good advice. Like, and he'd be telling you where to go or where to work and people who to work for and stuff. So yeah, no, he's very, very good.
Okay, so that brings me on to the next question then, I suppose, in terms of like the places that you have worked prior to your taking on the role in Clongowes, we'll say through your work experience, the farms that you would have been on as part of the program in Moore Park, how influential were they in kind of further enhancing your career or sending you further along the line, we'll say?
Yeah, well, I suppose each of the farms I was on there's 3 or 4 different farms. They're all different type of systems. There was a high input pedigree Holstein herd, and then there was New Zealand where it was a low input, just kind of grass only herd. So it was a good kind of broad picture I got, and knew the system that I wanted to farm on the way I wanted to do it. You also got to know what what your weaknesses are, by asking by the farmers to quickly let you know what your weaknesses are and what to work on, and more importantly, you know what not to do. And you know, going to different farms, you learn the mistakes and the mistakes you make, but you learn that the mistakes other farmers are making are things you see other farmers that they should be doing that the previous farmer was doing, and you get a broad picture of the industry really.
Yeah, so I suppose you saw a bit of everything, and you've taken the best bits from all of the three farms or three situations that you looked at, and that's what you're kind of trying to apply now at Clongowes, is it really?
Yeah, and like it didn't happen by coincidence, but I think each farm we went to was kind of a step up in management level and in management and the management technique. Like each one was, and that was kind of progressed really to the last farmer was on placement was Peter Farrell, and that was kind of, I wouldn't say there's a more technically efficient farmer in the country than Peter Farrell, like, and that was really probably the best placement I was on, because it was he was just so good at what he does, like, and you know, that was probably a good thing. Was, I'd say if you'd went there first, it probably would have overwhelmed it. But I think the main thing is to work for the right people and to work for someone who's going to progress you like he did, like. So yeah, no, it was really good to go and work for someone like Peter.
And I suppose we'll say Peter, obviously, by the fact that you're talking about him there, is possibly a mentor for you even still, that you would talk to him a bit, or do you talk to some of the other people that you've encountered along through your career in terms of bouncing ideas off them?
Yeah, I do. Like the farm here is Multi Farms. They own three different. We lease own the home farm, and then there's two different farm lease in. Graham Swanton is the farm manager in Tipperary, and I'd probably talk to him every second day, you know, and I'd definitely ring him every Monday morning and see how things are going. After the measure, I'd ring him and have a chat about it, like, and if there's trouble or if there's something wrong, kind of the first person I pick up and get on the phone and say, here, look, this is what's happened, what you think, like. And because I'm only 24, I haven't been around the block. He's doing this a lot longer than me. Like, I thought coming out of Moore Park that I knew everything, or I knew the industry and knew how to do everything. You quickly realize, you know, feck all, and you have to learn the hard way. So it's nice to have someone with that experience there to learn off and to bounce questions off, and when you have a problem, to ring it. And generally it's happened to everyone else, so they'll sort it out fairly quickly, like.
Yeah, very good, very good. I suppose like, do you think more people should be doing the farm management course, even if their only intention is to go home and farm their own farm potentially? Like, because there's probably a lot of people go through Kildalton, Ballyhaise, Pallaskenry, they do the basic course, I suppose, and then they go away home. It's kind of sufficient to do what they need to do in terms of the financial side of things, in terms of tax breaks, etc., taking over the farm, satisfying those requirements. But do you think that people should actually take that next step and go on and do the professional farm management course as well, even if they have no aspiration to actually manage a farm for anyone else or anything like that? Like,
Yeah, I think it's a given. Like, if you want to be a dairy farmer, the Moore Park course is the only way to go. Like, it should nearly be mandatory, like, for a young person just to go and do it. Like, the level of step up from Ballyhaise to Moore Park was like immense. Like, just the different level of technical efficiency, and like the, how would you put it, I don't know how you put it, but it was just a lot more information, but a lot more focused on budgeting and kind of the financial management of a farm, but how you're going to manage a farm and what you're going to do in the future. So it was all set towards, are you going to be share milk, and it'll set your kind of goals out for the future. Yeah, it was like, you have access to the best in the industry, the likes of George Ramsbottom there and Lauren Shalhoub, people like that. You're learning off them and you can bounce ideas off them. Yeah, like I see it, and I see people going back home from not doing the Moore Park, and I just think it's a huge mistake. Like it's the best thing that I've ever done, by far. Like it's, and I'll always say that, like it's the step up was huge, but like the experience I got from it and the things I learned from it just have stood to me ever since. Like, and
So, like, it's basically the way you're describing it. So it's been the foundation stone that you've built your career upon, really, more so than like Ballyhaise
yeah,
was the step to it, and then that this is really where you've launched yourself from. Then is doing the professional farm management course.
yeah. Like I'd say if I came up Ballyhaise without doing that, I wouldn't be here. You know, I don't know. Like it's just, it was a different type of course. Like it was more kind of Ballyhaise. Well, I suppose as well, when I treated Ballyhaise like a second party every week, every day. Like it was, you know, Moorpark was just that bit more serious and that bit more focused. Like
Okay.
for me anyway. That was personally, like, you know,
Yeah.
so it was a lot of work, and it is a lot of work. But it's worth it at the end. Like, you know, it was worth it.
Very
To
good.
do it, like.
So I suppose what advice would you give to any of the students that are tuned into you today now, in terms of, like, I suppose you kind of had the objective of going dairy farming all the time, but we'll say, and you kind of seem to have a good idea, actually, like you said there, from the age of 16, that you kind of had a plan in your head as to what way you'd like to go about it. Like, but if there are people currently in the colleges around the country now at the moment, and they're not really sure what direction they should take, what advice would you give them as a 24-year-old?
I'd say work for different systems and work for as many farmers as you can, but just make sure they're really good farmers and make sure they're going to progress you and teach you. You know, if you like machinery, if you like tractors, there's no point going to a farm here where the only tractor is a tractor and scraper. You're not going to enjoy that. So you want to go out and see what you enjoy. Like, some people don't like Jersey crosses, or other people don't like Holsteins, but go out and figure it out for yourself and see what you like. Probably the biggest one I'd say is for a student is, don't be afraid to take time off. Don't be afraid to burn out, or don't be afraid to tell them, like, you need time off. You're wrecked. Was if you burn out, you're no good to anyone. Something I didn't do when I was a student, and I suppose every time you burn out, you're no good to no one. You're not focused for weeks, and then eventually you have to take a week off because you're so tired. But now, as a farm manager and with people working here, if I see they're tired, I say, here, do you want some time off? And they take a day off or 2 days off, come back in, and they're a totally different person. Like, and then I'd say when you leave ag college, keep on going to conferences, keep on going to the likes of the National Dairy Conference or the Positive Farmers Conference, and keep on trying to progress yourself and keep on learning, because I find that even myself, sometimes if I don't go to anything for a couple of months, that I kind of get lax days when you go to them, say like the National Dairy Conference, and it kind of resets your mind and focus a bit more than you were before. Like, yeah, just keep on learning is the main thing.
Very good. And I suppose a tricky one maybe for you, but maybe just, I suppose, your experience of the other people that were on the courses, which is maybe as much as anything as your own experience, so as not to be identifying anybody potentially. But did you have any bad experiences or did any of your classmates have bad experiences on farms? And in terms of, did it really put them off of careers in dairy farming subsequently, or anything like that? I suppose the reason I'm asking that is just to, I suppose, for people, maybe not to people listening, but you know, that the influence that you've seen, that you've spoken about there from the likes of Peter Farrell and that, like, and how they've positively steered your career. Like, Marion Beecher has work done there where, like, the impact on a young person, we'll say maybe somebody in their early teens just doing a bit of work at a weekend on a farm, if they have a positive experience, the opportunity for them to come back farming subsequently, or to have an interest in a farming career, is enhanced greatly. So like you said there, now you recognize people beginning to burn out because of having experienced that, but obviously the burnout affected you. Maybe now that might have been your own fault rather than the farmers that you were working for, but like the role of that experience for a young person in terms of their future career choices and development, what would you think about that?
Yeah, well, I suppose, say that I'd have 6 close friends that are all managing farms, and I'd say to 3 of them, 3 of us have all suffered from burnout, and like, you know, real bad burnout, whether as a student or as managing a farm. My first 2 years here, both years, you know, I just got to the point where it's like, geez, I don't know if I'll be able to get up in the morning. Like, I'm that tired. Like, and you get up in the morning, you're just tired all day long, and that's for weeks. But it was in Peter Farrell's when I was like that. You're playing football, you're training 3 nights a week or 4 nights a week, then you're going out on your weekend off, you're going out on Friday night, you're going out on Saturday night, and you're coming back into work on the Monday morning, even
more tired than you went
off. Like, and it was Peter that kind of said to me, he's like, here, last week, have a meet yourself, you look wrecked. And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm
a bit
shook. I'm really, really tired. And he was a bit shook, was right. And he's like, right, take 3 or 4 days off. And since when I came back then, I was like, geez, I'm a different person. Like, it's like, you take 3 days off, do nothing for 3 days. But yeah, like, it's that is the biggest thing for a young person as well. Like, and I probably wasn't enjoying myself at the time as well. Like, so I think if you go out and enjoy yourself as well as just working and you can't please everyone. So I think you just ask for time off. And like, you know, farmer, if you're working hard and you're learning and you're keen, I don't think any farmer will say no if you ask them for a day off or ask them for a couple of mornings off and tell them you're wrecked. As one farmer said to me, he's like, I've been at this 40 years, I'm well accustomed to it. You've only been at this a couple of years. You know, so it's a big problem as a student as well, like, is to try have some kind of a social life as well, but you need to be able to take time off as well, like.
Yeah, work-life balance is important, so even at the young age.
Yeah, it is, more importantly at the young age, like, you know, especially when you're a student, go out and enjoy it, because when you're a farm manager, there's that bit more responsibility that you can't really do that for 6 months of the year. You're trying to take your weekends off and kind of rest up and back into work then and focus, put the head down again for 2 weeks. Like, you know, there's a lot more responsibility on your shoulders.
Okay, so I have 2 final questions for you. I suppose the first one is in relation to your showcase a couple of weeks ago. What has winning the Young Grassland Farmer of the Year competition category done for you, in your opinion?
Probably given me more confidence. I say it's given me more confidence measuring grass and in my ability. That's the main thing for it. Yeah, it was just nice to be, and it's nice to have hard work recognised. And that was the main thing of it. Yeah, it was just nice to be recognised. Like, that's it.
Very good. And finally, I suppose, what's the plan? There's a plan there of going milking your own cows, I think. And what's the direction there, and what's the future plans for John Trant and your new wife?
Yeah, so we're currently trying to get our own unit set up. We hope to be milking next year, but with COVID-19, it's been a headache. But we pushed it out to 2021, or 2021.
22. Yeah.
22. Sorry, 2022. Yeah. So we pushed it out to 2022. So yeah, I suppose the Grassland Farmer of the Year Award helped a lot, because it was where I kind of originally got talking to the banks at it, and it looks well for them, you know, that you have that kind of accolade or that recognition of it as well, which is a big help. So yeah, 200 cow unit, leased farm. So it's a greenfield site and it's a big undertaking, but sure, kind of if you don't do it, sure, just stuck in the same spot. So we're just trying to keep on moving and keep on challenging myself to bigger and better things. So hopefully it'll work out now.
Very good. And I suppose just out of interest as well, in terms of obviously, you won't be able to do Clongowes and do that at the same time. So
No.
you're going to be leaving the Clongowes farm. And
Yeah.
we'll say just the discussions that you've had with the owners in relation to that plan. And obviously, if you were hoping to start next year, you probably were looking at leaving sometime at the end of this year, possibly, I suppose. And how has that changed? The fact that it's changed now to 2022, are you staying on in the role in Clongowes? And just, I suppose, just the communication channels that you have with your farm owners, I suppose, is the point I'm trying to get at, really.
Yeah, it's a slow process. So there can, I thought I'd kind of give it 12 months by the time you put in plan of permission to getting everything sorted out. It's not. It's going to take a lot longer than that. But I kind of been talking through them throughout the whole thing, and been talking to the owners with it, and it's only been good things or help, and kind of, well, do this or do that, or try this or try do that. It's not been, oh geez, you're leaving me. There's been none of that. Like, it's only been trying to help and encourage me, and and give them their advice and stuff, which is excellent. But no, I'll be staying on here throughout next year, and hopefully I'll be able to be milking my own cows in 2022. And right. We'll hear as well, like, there's, if there be no water to buy in stock or anything like that, there's all that, there's all the help in the world. I find that older farmers are a lot keener to give young people a help in hand or give them advice. Like, they more admire someone trying to get into the industry and start something for themselves and begrudge it. Like,
very good. So I suppose there's two questions here, and we'll encourage people to put in more questions. We'll be finishing up shortly. So just one person is asking you, how many tons of grass did the farm grow this year, and how many did you grow last year?
We're on 12.7 tons of dry matter grown. We grew 16.5 last year, but the drought kind of really hit us hard here, so that's going to set us back for a ton or 2 ton, I'd say. But we're on track to go about 15 ton this year, so it's not too bad.
And would you have done a lot of reseeding when you took over the farm, or kind of reset the farm, I suppose, with the new herd?
No, it's been around 10%, 15% a year. I've done nothing this year on the milking platform. I'd hoped to oversow the whole farm with clover, but it just didn't really, the weather didn't really allow us to. So I haven't done any reseeding this year, but there's nearly 45 to 50% of the farm, reseeded in the last 4 or 5 years. So there's still a good few paddocks there that haven't been reseeded, I'd say, in 20 years, but they're still very productive paddocks, growing 13, 14 tons. The quality mightn't be great in them, but they still are really productive paddocks.
Okay, very good. And the same person is actually asking, how many cows to the hectare are you stocked at?
2.9.
2.9, okay, very good. Okay, seeing as you mentioned about being on the different types of farms, or the different styles of farms, I suppose, Martin DC is asking, what cow type of breeding would you prefer?
Jersey Cross. Just the ease of maintenance, the lighter weight, and real plus I find with them is your fat and protein and your milk solids percent. Your milk solids deliver a huge milk price, and like the milk price here is 40.5 cent this month, which is really good. We're always nearly 9 or 8 cent above the base price or the national average per se. Like, so, and that's the real real benefit of Jersey crosses is just that extra bit of milk price.
Okay. And then it looks like it's going to be the final question. Maybe Ned Duffy's just wondering, are you a member of Macra?
No. Oh no, I am. Yeah. I am for FBD insurance purposes, but I wouldn't go to much Macra meetings or anything like that. No, but yeah, I joined to get the 10% off FBD insurance.
And then I suppose there's actually just one question after coming in: is are you leasing the greenfield site and putting up everything, so full scale development?
Yeah. So we're on leasing off my wife's parents, so we're on leasing the farm off them. So It's a full greenfield development, but it's not we're not we're not like, hopefully she'll get the farm. So
you better be good.
No, so we're not putting up facilities with no end goal on site. We're for 20 years and we don't know what's happening after that. Like, hopefully we'll be farming it for a lot longer than 20 years.
Very good. Okay, so I think that's it in terms of the questions. So I'd just like to say thanks very much, John, for coming on again and for talking to us. I think you gave us some good insights into your career to date and some advice to people that are listening as well. And I wish you all the very best for the future. I think it's onwards and upwards for you anyway. So all the best and thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
So just to flag it for people for next week, we're going to be linking up with Glanbia and the open source Future Farm program that Richie O'Brien is running with them. We're going to be on the farmer Shane Fitzgerald in Portlaw, and we're going to be doing a piece on reducing the carbon footprint of milk production. And we'll be talking to Shane himself, Zoe Kavanagh, the CEO of the NDC, Shane McElroy with Glanbia, and our own Brendan Horn then from Teagasc and Moore Park will also be talking about it. So we look forward to joining you. Just again, sorry for the changing around of the time, but this is going to be at 11 o'clock next week, and it'll be for an hour. So we hope you can join us then. And thanks again, John, and thanks to everyone else. Take care in the meantime, and we'll see you next week. Bye.